Hey everyone, welcome to week 3. This week we are talking about empaths and intuition. It's a topic that I love to discuss. So let's get started. Screen sharing. All right, empaths and intuition. Okay, so the objectives of this week is to help you understand what your intuition or that inner knowing is. I'll be using both of those terms interchangeably throughout this entire module. To recognize behaviors that may occur from ignoring your inner knowing, to understand the connection between food, weight, and empaths, and how all of that is connected to your intuition, to learn techniques to overcome behaviors and start listening to your intuition, identify which intuitive empath you are, chances are you are at least one of them, and to learn techniques and exercises to develop your intuition and trust your sensitivities. So because we're going to be doing a meditation at the end of this, I would like you to just take a moment right now to close your eyes. Take a deep inhale through your nose and sigh it out through your mouth. Just take a moment to allow yourself to be fully present as you go through this module, and to set any intention that feels good for you, but to allow yourself to absorb as much of this as you need to allow yourself to fully step into accessing your intuition. Okay, so what is intuition? Intuition is that inner knowing or direct perception of truth. It is knowing without needing reasoning. So intuition is like the feeling before the proof. It is the believing before the seeing. Intuition vibes with vibrations, essentially. Our intuition is connected to our energy body and our emotions, and it is simply another sense. How we perceive sight or colors, how we hear sounds, how we're perceiving those vibrations. Intuition is just another way of understanding the vibrations all around us. And because energy is neither created nor destroyed, so all energy that has ever existed and will ever exist in the multiverse is existing in this moment. And all energy is vibration, and all vibration is information. Our intuition can pick up on knowingness from past, present, or future. Does that make sense? So intuition facilitates the sacred art of connection with yourself, with others, and the universe. Empaths are naturally intuitive, and we're going to talk about that a lot more in this module. However, sometimes an empath's intuition can feel more like craziness. So, when we are kids, it is very often that because kids are very energetic and very connected to their intuitive senses, and most adults are not, that we kind of feel like we're crazy. Adults will start telling us, like, what you're feeling isn't true, what you're seeing isn't there, you're being overly sensitive, calm down, don't worry, everything's fine. If you have like a bad feeling that something's going to happen, so on and so forth. So this can lead to distrust in the body when these hunches, these nudges are not validated. So what happens when we start to distrust ourselves is that that can lead to being ungrounded in our body because we don't trust ourselves and the feelings that are coming from our body. Those are associated with the first three energy centers, from the root, which is, if you remember, right at the base of the spine, the sacral right beneath the belly button, and the solar plexus right in the middle of your gut. Those first three energy centers are the energy centers that kind of bring our energy into our body. They ground us into our body. So when we don't feel safe or we don't trust the feelings coming from our body, then that can shoot our energy up, and it creates this wobbly effect. Clairvoyants will see it as like a tornado in the energy centers. And you can feel very spacey. You can feel like you get a lot of headaches. You might have some health issues, feel very nervous or jittery, anxious, depressed. All of these are common symptoms of being ungrounded. So being ungrounded can then also lead to addictive behaviors in an attempt to numb out or feel grounded. We're going to talk about that because when we aren't grounded, we tend to lean into unhealthy behaviors in order to help us feel grounded and or numb out of our body, to just keep us further from coming into our body because we don't trust our body. So when we start to come into our body, then we can develop these feelings of, oh, this doesn't feel safe. So then we go into behaviors that can become addictive in order to numb out, so we don't actually have to feel the feelings in our body. Okay, so what are common addictive behaviors for empaths? So when we lean away from our intuition, from not feeling validated, then we can develop any of these. So between the overstimulation of society and the constant disapproval of society, empaths tend to lean on certain behaviors as crutches in an attempt to self-medicate. So this quote-unquote self-medicating is a way to, like I said before, numb out or help us ground when we are ignoring our intuition, when we are going against what our body is telling us, what we know to be true in our body. So alcohol, drugs, prescription and non-prescription. Tylenol actually numbs empathy. So if you are someone who takes Tylenol, notice how you feel when you're not taking it and when you are taking it. Sex, we can often go to sex for numbing out. Unhealthy relationships in general. Food is a big one. Gambling, shopping, and then there are others. So if you can think of anything that you do to numb out, some of us now, we might just grab our phone and scroll mindlessly on social media, or start playing the comparison game where we compare ourselves to other people, or TV is a good way to numb out. So there are other ways to numb out. These are just the most common ones, especially for empaths. Okay, so how do you know if you have addictive tendencies? So you can go through this checklist and ask yourself, do I turn to any of those previous behaviors on the previous slide when I am feeling overwhelmed, I am feeling frustrated, anxious, depressed, my feelings are hurt, I can't sleep? So feel free to go down through this list and ask, like, do I turn to any of those behaviors when I'm feeling any of these things? And if you are answering yes to even one of these things, you sometimes turn to addictive substances to cope with your sensitivities. So for an example, for myself, I went through, so I'm just going to go back real quick. I was addicted to alcohol. I was addicted to weed at one point in time. I was addicted to unhealthy relationships. I was addicted to food. I've never been really addicted to sex, gambling, or shopping, but I would find my worth in other relationships, and those relationships would be intimate relationships, so it may have been intertwined in those. But so I would always turn to food when I'm overwhelmed with my emotions, always. And because I was in so many shitty relationships, every time I would come home or every time I'd leave the person I was with, I would immediately turn to food because I didn't want to feel discomfort in my body I was feeling. I was always drinking alcohol to avoid feeling frustrated, anxious, depressed, or other emotional pain. I think I was like 24 years old when I remember saying to myself that I'm going to become an alcoholic. Like, I am an alcoholic right now, and I'm on the road to becoming one for the rest of my life if I don't change something. When my feelings are hurt, I used to drink alcohol just because, like, when I turned 21, I just started drinking all of the time to celebrate good things when I was frustrated, so I didn't have to deal with depression. Instead of crying when one of my best friends passed away, I just went and binge drank for the entire weekend. When I can't sleep, I've never really had any issues with that. If I feel uncomfortable in my body, oh yeah, totally, I used to drink, and then I'd eat more food. I felt so uncomfortable in my body that I would get so depressed that I'd walk into the kitchen and just start binging. And because I was binging, I felt even more uncomfortable, and I felt even more emotionally unsafe in my body the next one, that I would eat more and I would eat more, and then I would feel like crap, so I would purge, and it became this really unhealthy relationship with food that I didn't even see as an addiction at the time. But now in retrospect, I was in a full-fledged addiction with my relationship with food, with my relationship with alcohol, with my relationship with men. And it was like, men were my entire life. Alcohol was from the age of like 21 to 25, and food was from the age of like 18 up until 26, when I really started to get into my healing journey. So if you guys are resonating with any of these, it's not anything to feel like shamed for or feel self-critical, just to bring awareness. When I went to parties, if I felt shy, anxious, or didn't fit in, you bet I was drinking. That's how I loosened up, because I'm naturally an introvert, and I assume many of you are introverts as well. If I was sitting at home by myself, I was always just going to get food for something to do. If I was tired, who craves carbs when they're tired? Monique used to. And when I would feel drained by other people, I would always, always, always go to food. So for me, food was a big one. And for a lot of empaths, food is a big one. And so is weight. So many empaths struggle or have struggled with food or body image at different times in their life, specifically carbohydrates and sugar, because carbohydrates and sugar light up the dopamine centers in the brain, which help us feel good, help us feel better. And so empaths tend to lean to food because of a couple things. One, food can help us feel grounded. So the act of eating, especially heavier foods, may help you feel grounded in your body. And two, food creates a barrier from your emotions. So the discomfort that you're feeling from either other people's emotions or your own you may hide from in food. And excess weight is an armoring technique to protect you from absorbing the stress and pain of others. It can also help us feel more grounded and repel negativity. And there are actually cultures in the world where empathic healers would purposely, used to and still do, keep excess weight on to deflect the negative energy so they don't absorb negative energy. As they would work with more and more people and help heal more and more people, they would keep weight on them because they actually believe that the weight was keeping other people's negative energy from penetrating their body, from penetrating their field. So anytime we hold excess weight, it is simply a protection mechanism from us absorbing other people's energy. And it typically comes from when we were younger and something happened, we're protecting ourselves from it. And then empaths who are very skinny or who do not hold a lot of weight, they may feel anxious around people. They may feel nervous around people because subconsciously there's this fear that you're absorbing other people's energy. But there are better ways to handle this, and you can mend your relationship with food, with any other addictive behavior, with yourself, by practicing the shielding exercises that you're learning throughout this entire course, and grounding exercises that we're going to talk about today and in a couple of weeks. So overcoming addictive behaviors, you can do a lot of things, and this is not a This is not a course to help with addiction, but this is just something that I thought was important, because when I read about this, I was like, okay, this could really help people. So we're just going to briefly go over a couple ways to help with overcoming addictive behaviors. And the first of that is to get honest. So you must first identify your addictive behavior and get honest with yourself. Then you have to realize and repeat to your mind over and over and over again that nothing outside of you will make you feel comfortable with yourself. So for an example, through my own experience, every time when I started doing health coaching 2 years ago, I was coaching people around their food behaviors. So I was like, okay, Monique, you need to take inventory of your own food behaviors. So there are times, I do this to this day when I go into the kitchen, I ask myself, because I have prior food addiction, I ask myself, am I really hungry right now? Or am I using this as a means to avoid feeling something, or because there's an emotion in my body that I don't want to express right now? So that's what I mean when you have to repeat to your mind that nothing outside of you will make you feel comfortable with yourself. This food isn't going to make me feel comfortable in my body. I make myself feel comfortable in my body. And then as we often feel worse when we succumb to an addictive behavior. So not only is that food or that cigarette or that alcohol or that sex or unhealthy relationship or the gambling or the shopping spree, not only may that contribute to your feeling uncomfortable with your body. You might first seek solace in that, but oftentimes it creates a further discomfort with ourselves, because now we just did this thing that we didn't even really want to do in an attempt to avoid or protect ourselves from another thing, and we still haven't addressed the actual issue. So by addressing the actual issue, by getting honest with ourselves, and then reminding ourselves that nothing outside of us can help us feel comfortable within us. And that starts from grounding in our body, expressing our emotional wants and needs, and communicating with ourselves and other people, and then creating a plan to overcome this. And it's going to look different for each and every one of us. And obviously this may be more helpful with a coach or a professional or a program like a 12-step program, to help you get over this. And there are a ton of different programs to help with any of these, such as Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, Overeaters Anonymous, Gamblers Anonymous, Debtors Anonymous, to help with financial issues. There is Codependence Anonymous. There is a group for friends and relatives of alcoholics. There's Sex and Love Addicts Anonymous, and which will help you set healthy boundaries. And most importantly, in a 12-step program, a lot of focus is on spirituality. So finding solace in spirit and your connections with spirit will help you. Spirituality is your friend, and it offers protection by enveloping you in the real power of goodness and love. So learning to go within and listen to spirit and your intuition and yourself gives you direct access at any time of the day or night to the sense of peace and protection that you deserve. Everyone deserves this. And spirituality can be anything for you: gods, goddess, nature, source, love, compassion, universal intelligence, higher power, your heart, whatever resonates with you, just connect with that. And the next time that you find yourself kind of going into a behavior pattern that you're trying to get out of. Okay. All right. Self-awareness is liberating. Addictive tendencies are a coping mechanism. So if you are aware of them, then you can now become aware of other healthier ways to deal with your empathic sensitivities and your gifts. Be patient with yourself. Pause when you may be about to give in to an old behavior. Pausing when you're about to give in to an old behavior and creating a pattern disrupt, which is just either changing your thought process, going to do something like taking a walk, reading, calling someone to create that pattern disrupt in your mind can help you overcome any addictive behaviors. And like I just talked about, spiritual practice may help you reclaim your power, and then plugging into the energy of love helps to raise your vibration and ground you into your body. And you can always ask spirit for help, like always ask spirit for help. You could always just say, like, please stop helping me take on the feelings of other people. Please lift my anxiety in social situations. Just use your connection with spirit as prayer and communicate with spirit to help you overcome things. All right, so trusting your sensitivities. So as you lean into your sensitivities and you start communicating with your intuition and you start really developing your intuition, you will notice that as long as you are practicing shielding exercises and keeping yourself grounded, that any behavior that isn't serving you will tend to fall away. So all empaths have heightened senses, but not all empaths have a heightened intuition and may need to practice tuning into theirs. So we all are super sensitive to our environment, but not all of us have that heightened in-tune intuition and are knowing. And this is maybe because of various reasons, because it was quieted when we were younger. It wasn't validated when we were younger, or we just never explored it. But some of us have very heightened intuition and some of us don't, but we all have the ability to enhance and develop our intuition. So physical and emotional empaths may be able to tune into the pain or emotions of a person, but may have a difficult time sensing that outside of local reality. So what does that mean? So we can tune in to any emotional experience that someone is having with their permission, side note, at any time that's ever existed. So you can tune in to the energy of a party that hasn't even happened yet when your intuition is developed. You can tune into the energy of a field that a battle was fought on. You can tune into the decision that someone might make in their future and see what it feels like for them, if you decide to. That's just what it means of outside local reality. Local reality is what we're experiencing right now in this moment, and all of us have the ability to develop intuitive senses outside of this, but some of us might do it a little bit easier than others. One thing that I will say is some people will hear this and think, okay, that sounds crazy. You had me until this. And I just want to remind you of all energy is neither created nor destroyed, and all energy that's ever existed and will ever exist in the multiverse is existing right now in this moment. All energy is vibrations. All vibration is information. This is how we can know, quote unquote, just know things, have a knowing about things, because everything is information. It's just a matter of tuning into the frequency of that information, which is just like you're listening to the radio and you know that you can listen to a different station, but first you have to find the station. Once you find the station, you can always just click the button and get back there. But until you find the station, you just have to keep fine-tuning and fine-tuning and fine-tuning. You know what you're looking for, but you just have to keep fine-tuning until you get there. Once you get there, you can always just refer back to it. So that's kind of how intuition works. It's just you are tuning into something, and once you practice tuning into it, you'll always, now you've opened up that channel. You've opened up that ability to receive information from another channel, from another radio station. Does that make sense? So anyone can develop their intuition, and I believe, this may be disagreed upon, but I believe that all empaths are also a type of intuitive empath. So in that very first module, we talked about all the different types of empaths, the most common ones, but I believe that all empaths also have the ability to be intuitive empaths. And you can develop different types of empathy as you continue on through your life journey. So we're just going to review again the types of intuitive empaths. so you guys can get a deeper understanding of what they are and which one you are. All right, the telepathic empath is the empath that intuitively reads people. This empath intuitively reads people in present time, even if a person's thoughts and feelings are unexpressed. You may receive images, impressions, flashes, or just a knowing about loved ones, coworkers, clients, even strangers. This might manifest as you're thinking about a good friend of yours, and then that friend texts you or calls you, like right in that minute. Or you have a kid, or you are a child of a parent, and you are like feeling that they're ill, even though you live on completely different sides of the country, and you just feel like there is this feeling that's like, oh, something's going on, and you call them and they had just recently like fallen ill or something like that, or they're sick or something like that. Or you applied for a job and you don't know if you're going to get it, and then all of a sudden you just like have this flash of excitement and gratitude flow through your body, and you go to check your email and you see that you've gotten the job, that they've asked you to take the job. So being a telepathic empath can be very overwhelming. It can be very cool, but it can be very overwhelming because you can unconsciously be picking up on everyone around you if you're not shielding yourself. And because you're picking up on insights not only for yourself, but for other people. And how can you tell if like it's true or not is if there's an emotional charge with it. So if something drops in or you see something and it just like pops in and pops out, no emotional charge, then most likely it's true. If you're like reaching for it, like for an example, you may have a fear of abandonment from your childhood, and you're in a relationship now and you constantly feel like your partner is going to leave you. So that has an emotional charge behind it. So that might just be an emotional wound projecting itself versus a telepathic sense. Does that make sense? All right. So the precognitive empath is the empath that may receive premonitions about the future. This happens either while you are awake or in a dream state. You may receive premonitions spontaneously or when you intentionally tune in. This is a skill that can be developed with practice. You can and may receive premonitions about someone's health, relationships, career, or other issues. For instance, you might know if a friend is going to get engaged, or you might know if someone got pregnant recently, or before they've announced it to someone, or like before they even start trying. You might just be able to see like, oh, it's summer now, but you see them in like a sweater announcing their pregnancy. So you can tell that they're going to get pregnant. And you are receiving this information from the non-local realm, so outside of present reality. I'm not going to go too much into that, but just know that you're receiving this information because all energy that's ever existed and will ever exist is existing now. And so you have the ability to pick up on that and to break it down. Okay, so with precognitive empathy, the only thing you want to look at about here is that if you do receive something, you're asking permission to deliver the message, because it can freak some people out. And so you can just say like, hey, I feel like I know something that might be helpful to you. Is it okay if I share this with you? And recognizing that some of the events that you pick up on can be changed due to free will. Also, you are not predicting the future. You are not causing events to happen with your quote unquote predictions. You are simply tuning into a possible outcome of something that may happen that's coming in for you for a reason for you to speak it to whoever needs to hear it, or just because you are open to receiving it. So just know that sometimes you might pick up on negative things, sometimes you might pick up on positive things, but you're not causing anything to happen. You are simply the transmitter of the message. And you can also set boundaries, like we talked about those energetic boundaries, but I don't want to receive any negative information from anyone. I only want to receive positive messages. And you can practice with that if you are a precognitive empath. All right, dream empaths. Dream empaths use dreams to receive guidance into the real world. So if you are a dream empath, you are regularly having vivid dreams that you remember. This can be an experience that frequently would start in childhood. So you may even look forward to falling asleep. You are attracted to the dream world. And dreams are an extremely powerful form of intuition because they bypass the ego, the critical conscious mind, and they allow full-on intuitive experience to happen in the dream state. So what might happen in a dream intuitive experience? You may bring guidance, or you may receive guidance about healing, spirituality, or overcoming difficult emotions. This may show up as a nightmare, or you might receive information of telling you how to help yourself or telling you how to help others. Dreams can also be telepathic or precognitive as well. And you might even have your spirit guides that come in to talk with you during your sleep. You can also travel to other realms in the dream time, as most of us do. And you can also develop your abilities with practice. So try keeping a journal next to you and write down your dreams every morning and just reflect on them before you get going with your day. You can even ask yourself questions. Any of you can do this. Ask yourself questions before you fall asleep of like, what guidance do I need to know for my next steps? What direction do I need to go in my career, my relationships, life, and just see what comes through in your dreams. Okay, so a mediumship empath communicates with spirits that have crossed. So medium empaths can communicate with not only people, but also animals and other spirits on the other side. So you have a special talent for bridging the gap between this life and the afterlife. You may even have a hard time separating what is reality and what isn't reality because of your ability to tune in to different planes of existence and tuning into the spirit world. You can also develop this empathy skill by working with another medium or by working with someone who can help you connect with spirits. If you choose to do so, you can receive information from animal spirits, from plant spirits, from people spirits, from spirits that haven't existed on Earth. And you can use that to help give guidance to people who need it, to help solve problems, solve issues. And it can also feel overwhelming. So this can feel scary for a lot of empaths if you are a mediumship empath. So the key here is to set those boundaries, to stay calm and centered, and then to practice the golden light shielding exercise before and after, and to practice grounding yourself. A plant empath, you guessed it, intuitively connects with plants, trees, or flowers. So you have a natural connection to nature. You intuitively connect to the needs of plants, trees, flowers, nature spirits, and you can even tell if a plant is healthy or needs healing. You may be very sensitive when there's obstructions to nature, like trees getting cut down. You may also even hear plants, like they may quote unquote talk to you, and you may be drawn to the woods, the mountains, and bodies of water to be very close to nature. You probably have a green thumb. You love to be close to plants. You love touching them. You may even find like you develop relationships with nature, things in nature, and you plants and flowers probably flourish around you. So again, you can tune in to this type of empathy, and you may also use help you may use the sensitivity to bring plant medicine into healing. A lot of plant empaths are healers or herbalists. So you can receive guidance from plants, and plants are like referred to as like shamans of the nature world. Trees are, because they're so old and wise, so we can receive a lot of information from them when we try to tune in with them. So you can take some time to sit with a tree or a plant and just set the intention to tune in with it and see what comes up. All right, an earth empath. You feel the earth's changes in your body. So you are attuned to the earth and all of the changes, sensually and energetically. You can feel the power of a thunderstorm, the loveliness of the moon, and the warmth of the sun. What happens to the earth is intimately connected to your body. So solar flares may really affect you. Wars may really affect you. Different changes in the seasons may really affect your body. So you can also tune into the love that the earth has for us. You experience the earth's changes as they are happening. So you might feel anxious in your body and not really understand why, but then you realize that something is going on in the world. But you have the ability to tune into the love of Mother Earth just so easily, and you can channel this love into your body and use it to send to other people or to set intentions for healing for other people. You may love the stars and the moons and love just like the solar system and feeling very drawn to wanting to learn more. And you may also just love to be outside, out in nature, out in the elements. You feel very at home in the elements, very calm in the elements. You love walking barefoot on the grass. It's really good for you. Earthing is extremely good for earth empaths and all empaths. Okay, animal empaths, the last one. To intuitively feel connected to animals and communicate with them is your main ability. So you may be even called like the quote unquote dog whisperer or horse whisperer. You can literally feel in your body when animals feel worried, upset, anxious, lonely, unsafe. You probably have an affection to wanting to help animals, to wanting to adopt animals, to just wanting to take care of them. You seem to attract animals wherever you go, out in nature or just like at a friend's house. Their animals love you. Animal empaths can also communicate with animals, and there are famous animal empaths throughout history that have also been documented doing this. You also may realize that animals are highly empathic and that they feel our emotions and intentions. So because of this, you may develop a psychic relationship with your pet or with other animals to communicate with them, as animals have wisdom for humans, and they just want to protect us. So you are probably someone who really knows what an animal needs in order to thrive, and that is why they love you. Okay, so I just want you guys to kind of see which intuitive empath, if any, but I know that you do you feel connected to? Let us know in the group. Please let me know in the group. I am extremely interested in intuitive empathy, as I vibe with a lot of those. I wasn't always connected to all of the intuitive empath types, but I connect with the majority of them now. And as you continue with your development, try to release any program belief that anything that I just talked about might be impossible, because I assure you it isn't. Stay open and playful as you explore your heightened sensitivities and connect with yourself more deeply. The most important thing to remember as you play is to remain grounded. So do the earthing exercises, do the visualization exercises that you learned in Module 1. Just connect to yourself. As I talked about this stuff, some of you may be very interested in this and some of you may feel a little resistant to it, and that's totally okay. But I just want you to be reassured that prior to 3 years ago, I didn't know any of this stuff existed. I didn't even know what an empath was. I was not hip to any of these terms. I didn't think that you could connect how I just explained you could with animals, plants, the future, the past, etc. I'd always hoped you could because my favorite TV show growing up as a kid was Charmed. If you're familiar with that show, it's about 3 sister witches and who fight off evil, and they all have like their own really cool superpowers. So I always dreamed that stuff like that could happen, but I never actually thought that it could until I did, and now I live it as my way of life. And I help people develop their sensitivities and break through limiting beliefs that are keeping them stuck in this reality that's not bringing them joy. And as we open up to these sensitivities and we let go of societal norms and beliefs, then I just really want you to believe and to feel that it's true, that all of this is possible. And not only is it possible, but as you tune into these gifts, you will help other people feel safe doing it. And you will set an example and just create an energetic shift in your vibe to where you're allowing other people to tune in to their sensitivities and feeling safe tuning into their sensitivities. So it's this domino effect that we're creating, that with each of us that make the decision to allow our empathic gifts to shine and to help others do so, we are raising the vibration of the planet, and we are helping so many people feel safe, if anything, on an energetic level, to lean into their sensitivities. So I guess I just want to thank you guys for being open to this. And if you're not so open yet, then that's okay, but just keep the option there. Okay, so this week, I would love for you guys, this is your homework, your intuitive development exercise homework. I want you to pick someone that you feel comfortable around. I don't care who it is. Someone that you can be extremely vulnerable with. And I want you to set aside at least a half hour and bring them into your space, or you go into their space, just the two of you, and I want you to sit across from them. I want you to take a moment to tune into your energy. You can do this with or without music on. If you have music on, please have it be with no words. You can find like hertz frequencies on YouTube or binaural beats. But take a moment to tune into your energy. Go through your entire body and just, how do you feel? How does your body feel? Are there any constrictions in your body, tension in your body? Is it open? Is it expansive? Do you feel hungry? Do you feel sad? Do you feel joyful, grateful, whatever? Whatever it is, just take a moment to tune into your energy while you're sitting across from them. And then I want you to ask permission to connect with them. So you're just going to say, after you tune into your energy, you're just going to say, can I connect with you? So what is this doing? This is opening up that boundary for you to allow their energy to actively penetrate your field, your empathic field. So your body, your literal body. After you ask permission to connect with them and they say yes, they can sit there with their eyes closed, they can sit there with their eyes open, whatever feels comfortable for you. I then want you to tune into the differences, if any, that take place in your body. So do any thoughts pop into your head? Do any images pop into your mind? Do you feel any shifts in your stomach, in your chest, in your back, in your hips, in your legs, in your shoulders, in your jaw? Do you feel any emotion flooding into your body? Do you feel any pain? Do you feel anything in your body that was not there a moment ago? And as you're tuning into this, just Create dialogue with the person of what you're feeling, thinking, experiencing with them. You can phrase it as a question. Okay, I'm feeling this. Does this seem right to you? Do not be afraid to be quote unquote wrong. There is nothing wrong here. If you're feeling something very intently, or you have an image of something or a knowing, like something drops into your mind and that it's not connecting with them, just feel free to say, all right, well, let's just keep that on the shelf. It's coming up for a reason. It wasn't here before, so let's just keep it on the shelf. Okay? So when you feel like you've discovered or you've covered everything, then close your eyes and set the intention to disconnect with their energy. Recite the return to sender mantra and then open your eyes again. And I want you to practice this and be patient with yourself. This is one of the best intuitive development exercises that I've ever done with another person. An empathic intuitive development, not just intuition, but empathic intuition. Why? Because we're always unconsciously exchanging energy with people. This is a conscious exchange. You are consciously connecting with this person and exchanging energy with them. So I want you to tune into the differences that you're feeling inside your body. This is an amazing exercise if you want it to be. I am extremely urging you to practice this exercise at least once this week. I will be tagging all of you in the Facebook group if I don't hear from you by next Monday, asking you how this exercise went. If you're not on module 3 by next Monday, that's okay. Then just put it or post in there as you do this module. But I just want you guys to be patient and practice, because this is an awesome exercise. Okay, the next exercise. I just want you to journal which empaths you feel connected to. Which intuitive empaths do you feel connected to? And then as you journal, are there any limiting beliefs that come up around these intuitive senses? So like, this is bullcrap, this doesn't actually exist, I can't do this, this is impossible, I don't know if I trust myself, anything like that. So just write out any previous experience you've had with these empathic senses if you've had them. Was it a positive experience? For an example, when you were a kid and you connected with your dog and you felt a stomach ache and you told your mom, I think our dog has a stomach ache. And your mom was like, okay, honey, I'm sure she's fine. Why don't you go play or go sit down? And you do that a couple of times. So you learn like, oh, mom's not listening to me. I'm going to stop doing this because she doesn't believe me. So was it a positive or negative experience? This will help you understand if you embrace and neglect your gifts versus you connect with your dog, you feel it has a stomach ache, you tell your mom, I think our dog has a stomach ache, and she goes, oh, okay, let's see if something's wrong. Like, let's see what food we gave him today. Maybe the dog's hungry, or let's go see if our dog's acting funny. Thank you for letting me know, honey. So just reflect on that if you are someone who feels resistance to their gifts. Practice tuning in with your empathic sensitivity at least once this week. Let us know how it goes in the group. Your affirmation for this module: I will honor my intuition. I will always trust my inner knowing. My sensitivities bring a light into this world. Okay. Share. Okay, so we are just going to do a quick meditation / intuitive development exercise, and then we will be done. So I would like for you to close your eyes. Take a deep breath in through your nose and sigh it out. Taking another deep inhale through your nose. And releasing in whichever way feels best for you. Now just going back to breathing in through your nose, allowing your belly to rise, and out through your nose, allowing your belly to fall. I would like you to imagine golden light coming down from right above your head and surrounding your forehead, the back of your head, down your mouth, swirling down and surrounding your shoulders, your back, your chest, down your arms, down your torso, surrounding your hips, swirling down and around either of your legs into your feet. And then imagine this golden light going straight into the earth, creating a nice calming connection to you and the earth. You know you are totally shielded, high vibe, and grounded. Now I just want you to take a moment to tune into your body and just notice what is going on in your body. Are there any thoughts you're thinking, feelings you're feeling, emotions that want to be expressed or are being stored? Is there any constrictions or tension, openness or expansion? If there's any tension, just take a couple breaths to breathe in to the tension with the intention of bringing in space. Now I just want you to imagine yourself. So see yourself right outside of yourself. And see this smaller version of yourself turning around to face you. And as you are facing you, you see an opening right between your eyebrows and your third eye center. Just notice the opening. Is it round? Is it square? Is it a door? A window? A hole? I want you to walk into this opening and walk into the space of your third eye center. Looking around and noticing what is in your third eye center. Do you see colors, shapes, room? And as you notice everything in your third eye center, you look to your right and you see an elevator. So I want you to walk over to the elevator and hit the open button. And as you step in, you see a big green button that's going to symbolizing it's taking you to your heart center. So you hit the big green button and you go down, moving past your eyes and your nose, down, moving past your mouth, down, moving past your throat center, and you land in your heart. And as the doors open up, it opens you up to a room in your heart. And just notice, does the room have any color or anything on the walls? Is there any furniture in the room? Or is it an empty space? There's no right or wrong. As you get to the back end of this room, you see a door. I want you to open the door. And as it opens, it takes you to a beautiful field. In whichever space you feel the safest in nature, this field could open up to a beach, could open up to a patch of grass, to a tree line. But you are so serene and connected, feeling safe and calm and centered. And as you continue to walk, you start to notice a figure. And at first, this figure is pretty blurry, pretty large, but it's this vibrant white light. You can't quite make it out yet, so you walk closer. As you walk closer, it starts to take shape and you start to recognize it as you. Although it doesn't look exactly like you, you know that it's your higher self. Your higher self that is guiding you through life, nudging you to make decisions that are serving your best and highest good. And that is rooting for you to further develop your empathic sensitivities. So as you get closer to your higher self, you see that they're almost double your size, but yet feel so light and wispy because they aren't fully physical as they're radiating this vibrant, bright white light. They acknowledge you. They don't speak, but you can feel the love that your higher self has for you. Your higher self smiles and effortlessly floats around behind you. As they put their arms around you, you can feel the lovingness of their presence, totally embracing you from behind, feeling safe. They whisper a message that they have for you in your ear. Just notice what the message is. You might hear something, you might see something, you might not hear, see anything, and that's okay. Trust that it will come. And feel free to ask your higher self what you get to do to further develop your intuitive senses. Is there anything that you get to do to enhance your empathic senses, to feel safe with them? Go ahead and ask your higher self at this time, feeling their presence around you and just noticing if you receive an image, a word, a phrase, a knowing, a feeling, an animal pops up. And if nothing happens, that's okay. You can take this time to ask your higher self to keep guiding you or for any guidance that you need at this time. Just thank your higher self for always being there for you, for guiding you, for showing you love. And at this time, you allow your higher self to release their embrace. You walk back to where you came, back into your heart space with these messages that you receive from yourself. Feeling safe and fully devoted to connecting to your intuition. For the next 3 breaths, you allow yourself to take your physical form bigger and bigger, bringing your awareness back to your body. And on your 3rd breath, you can open your eyes. Okay, you guys, I hope that you enjoyed that meditation. It felt really awesome. Let me know what, if anything, comes up for you in the Facebook group. I am sending you so much love, and I will see you for Module 4.